Welcome back to the ETBU Sports Net, guys. We are continuing our annual Top 10 countdown, some of the biggest moments of the season. It brings us to number 6, and it's only right that we have number 6 as we are talking with KJ Kelley of ETBU football. He had 2 pick sixes against Belhaven. That's what we're going to be talking about here today, and a lot of other good stuff as well. KJ, man, thanks for joining us. I know it's been a busy summer for you, man. What have you been doing so far?
Thank you for having me first and foremost. And haven't been doing much, really just training and trying to lock in and get ready for next season because this time we have 10 games, so not a short window, not a lot of time to rest. So just really focused on getting ready for next season so I can help my team get to where we want to be.
Absolutely. You guys, I tell you what, man, it was a little bit of a process the first 2 games. You had a lot of new recruits that you had to try to get in. It was a shortened season for you guys. You played half the games you normally play. So just kind of talk about that process a little bit. How are you guys able to kind of deal with all those big changes all in that short period of time like that?
Well, I mean, I think at the really beginning, it started with the fall when we came back and we didn't know what was going to go on. And that we had that time to mold and get to know different guys, the time that we don't usually get to have when we come back to school, because normally we come back to school, it's camp and then season. So the good thing that worked out for us, well, a lot of teams, I think, in my opinion, was when we got back, you didn't have any games to worry about. So you can learn all the plays from offense to defense, meet new guys, and start that molding and bonding process that would normally take you maybe getting into week 4, week 5 of bonding with your team. So I think that really helped a lot is going into the fall, having those practices, getting to see different guys and the coaches kind of, being able to slow down and help us learn new fundamentals and kind of start that recovery process of what you might have lost over the summer and the new guys able to gain and learn stuff from the older guys who were able to come back last fall. And then so it kind of trickled to the spring a little bit. So that was pretty interesting because, you have to realize you get COVID tested every week, starting in the spring. So that was kind of like, I was kind of like a little bit of a pain because you're like, man, I want to play Saturday, but I don't want to get that COVID test. But, that's what it took. And so it was kind of hard at first because you're kind of worried about, man, I don't want anybody to have a false positive because those were tending to happen. And so it was kind of like we had to be really safe in what we did. And the coaches really helped us out and, really stood their ground with us, telling us, we need to follow these protocols so we can play Saturday. And so most guys, they obeyed the coaches and we were able to, really stay safe over the whole COVID and able just to play, which we were really thankful for. So.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely. It was great to see how you guys were able to kind of come together at the end of the last couple of games of that season. You guys showed a lot of promise for sure, and we're excited to see what you guys bring for this next year. But let's go to the Belhaven game now, man. That's what we're one of the main things we're here to talk about. So just kind of talk to me about that moment, man. You kind of, it's kind of like, I don't want to say video game like, to where you got a pick six, and then you get another one in the exact same game. So just kind of talk to me about that whole sequence. What were you seeing out there that helped you kind of make that big play?
Well, it kind of really started off in practice that week. Our coach Rue was really harping on us about, they like throwing seams and posts to their slot receivers. Those were their dominant guys were. And so, just seeing that all week and watching film, just kind of in the right moment, Coach Rue, he called the right play. And the funny thing about the story is, I don't think I'm supposed to say this, but we ended up rolling the wrong way. And so it would happen to be, we were rolling and he snapped it. And so we saw that they're in trips. And so I'm like, wait, no, he likes to throw to the inside receiver. This is what Coach Rue's been telling us all week. And sure enough, he threw it straight to the guy. And I'm like, this is not happening. There is no way this is happening. And I'm seeing the ball, and I'm like, wait, he really just threw this. Like, Coach was right. He loves to throw it. And so you see it, and I'm just like, I'm going to jump it, and I'm going to jump it, and I'm going to go. And so luckily when I jumped it, we had already had a nice little blitz going from our D-line. The line was getting that pressure back there. So he kind of lofted it and gave me time to jump it. And then they set up a wall, and the rest was history. I was going down the sideline. And I couldn't thank my teammates enough because, some guys don't block, but my teammate set up that wall, and it was like nobody was going to touch me after that. And then come around the second one, we kind of was really noticing what we were doing. And so he was rolling. So we kind of had been practicing different things when they roll out. And so I was just kind of just doing my job and rolling, pushing. And next thing I know, he's getting pressured again by our D-line. And the linebackers were just in sweet spots. And I was able just to fit right there, and he lofts it up again. And I'm kind of like a ball hawk. I just love to get the ball in my hands and try to pretend I'm a receiver back in high school days. And I caught it, stumbled a little bit, and then there goes a couple of my guys make a couple of key blocks, and I'm down the sideline again. So, I mean, it was a lot happening. I didn't know, what to do. But, I mean, I think it all goes back to, how we were practicing that week. And Coach Real was really getting on us about, this is their favorite play to go to. These are their favorite combinations. This was going to happen. So if you're here and here and you attack the ball at the right time, good things were happening. Sure enough, with all 11 of us, I was able to make those plays and luckily get into the end zone, because my first fear was like, man, don't get caught. You're already going to cross the 50.
Yeah.
Like, you're almost there. Like, you get into the end zone. So they set up the wall and made sure nobody touched me. And the rest was history after that. So that's kind of how that played out. I was really in shock because, you see some stuff and you're like, man, teams change up their schemes going into the game, but they kind of stayed true. And, we practiced really hard that week, and everybody was in the right position. I was lucky just to get there and catch it and head to the house.
Absolutely, man. It was definitely fun to watch. I remember, I believe I was broadcasting that game as well. So got a chance to see it live like that, man. I had never seen that many pick sixes in one game before, man. So it was definitely fun to watch, and it really gave me a sense of what this team is going to be and kind of the direction of where this team is going over the next several years, man. You guys have a lot of great recruits. You have great leadership on the sideline with your coaches as well. But just kind of talk to me a little bit about, in a shortened season, you guys had to figure things out the first 3 or 4 games or so. But then you had the UMHB game where you only lost by 2. Now, this is a team that is one of the best in D3, definitely the best in the conference. To be able to take a team like that, have a chance to win at the end of the game, what does that kind of say about this team? And what were kind of the big hurdles you guys had to kind of get over to get to that point in the season?
We had a lot of hurdles to really get over. And I think one of the main is adjusting from, you do so much practicing, you practice all that fall, and we had all those scrimmages, but you're not seeing anybody else. You're just seeing, the offense and the defense. That's all you see. You're seeing yourself, you see every day. So now you have to get ready to, like, it's live. Like, it's the real deal. Everything matters. Everything counts. Every second that clock is ticking. I mean, you're trying to play, and you have somebody that actually else that wants to win. Like, it's not just another practice. And so it was hard to adjust because you realize there were no more second chances. After those final zeros were up in the fourth quarter, that was it. It's not like we get to go to practice again and go back and, like we did the scrimmages. So now you realize you have a team across from you that's just as hungry, and it's a shortened season. So you realize everybody has the same amount of practice. Everybody got to do the same thing. So now it's about these, who wants it more. And so that took us a while kind of like to realize, and you try to get going, and you trying to still kind of get the bad apples out. You're still trying to get it because everybody, everybody wants to play, but you realize you're only guaranteed 5 games, and one of those was the championship game or, the one we played in. And so it was a lot of difficulty. I mean, you realize we end up losing a heartbreaker to LC. And so we as a team had to sit back and say, where do we want to go from here? What is it that we really want to do and the goal that we really ultimately want to reach? Yes, that loss to Louisiana College, it hurt, but we had to say that's just the way the ball flipped that day. We didn't show up. They did. They punched us in the mouth, and we just didn't react how we should have. And so you realize it's like, okay, fellas, what do you want your legacy to be after you leave here? And so it's kind of like we go into the week of UMHB, and everybody was just locked in. You guys tell, like in the weight room, everybody was, pushing weight, throwing weight around, doing things that we should do to be able to compete with UMHB, because we know this game for us, we still knew that we had a chance to go play Hardin-Simmons. And so you realize the season's not over yet. We have a chance to still go win a conference championship. So we have to put in the work right now, that whole week, and focus, and everybody has to be unified. And so I think that was one of our hurdles, is we weren't as unified as we thought we were when our adversity had hit. And so we started really being unified going into that UMHB week, and it showed in the game. And so it was a tough first half, but then we came out in the second half and things were really starting to click for us. The defense was really holding up tight, and the offense started throwing up points, so it really worked out for us. And, we ended up playing TLU, ended up winning that one, but it just took a lot of bonding and really, focusing on where we really want to be. Because the first 2 wins, yes, they were great. We needed those wins, but I believe we needed that loss to really lock in and focus to get to where we were able to drag UMHB out to the fourth quarter and ultimately almost beat them. And so I think there was a lot of, we just weren't focused. That was one of our hurdles, and we just weren't unified, and which is our other hurdle. But you could tell towards the end of the season, we really were focused and we really were unified as a team, and we started staying really positive even when adversity had hit. And it showed towards the end of the season when we were playing UMHB. And so ultimately we were able to actually drag them out and almost beat them. But so hopefully that'll be a different result this fall. So.
Absolutely. And you guys, like I say, a lot of confidence in what you guys are going to be doing going forward. So it's going to be fun to watch for sure over these next several years with everyone that you guys have brought in. But can you just kind of also talk to me a little bit about the big news that we just kind of got this week for you, man, that you're named All-American. And so over the last several years now, ETBU has produced an All-American now. You can add your name to that list now. What does that mean to you, and what does it say about the work that you guys have put in to get to this point for you?
It's a really tremendous honor, because a lot of my coaches and my teammates, they kind of know my story about, how I ended up getting to ETBU and, the work that I had to put in, because nobody knew me when I got to ETBU. And, the last thing I thought I was going to be was an All-American, this time. But my story and getting here and able to actually get that All-American, it's a tremendous honor, and it means a lot to me and my family. I couldn't be more thankful for, however it worked out, whoever voted. But, I think it just shows what the coaches can do and what our team can do, because we put in a lot of sweat, equity, each and every day. And, my teammates pushed me to my limits, and we push each other each and every day. And our coaches pushed me. My position coach pushed me to be the best I could be. Each and every time that I stepped into the field, he made sure he was like, KJ, you can do this. You can go out there and compete. You can guard anybody you want to be. And so it took me a while after that first game to get going. And then after that second game, I just really believed it. And then, the rest was history. And so I think it just shows what our coaches can do and what our team is really able to do. And so they were just able to, they really surrounded me and helped me stay positive, even with the highs and lows of the season, and pushed me to be the best I can be. So when it came to the game, the game slowed down, and I was able to go out there and just play and make plays. But I think the only way, it really happened was it took all 11 guys on that defense to help me go out there and do what I could do, because without those front 7, those D linemen and those linebackers and those other 2 guys in second, I wasn't able to do what I could do, to get those pick sixes or those tackles. Everybody has to do their job, so I go fit in the right spot and, just make plays. So, I think it just shows, what we can do when, I couldn't have done it without them. I'm really thankful for my coaches and my teammates who helped me actually get this. And so it's just an amazing honor, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Absolutely, man. Well, we know you're in the middle of a big workout right now, getting ready for next season. So, man, we're going to let you go. But thanks again for joining us here on ETBU Sportsnet.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too. Absolutely. This has been ETBU Sportsnet. Mark T. Robinson here. You can check out this interview on YouTube and on goetbtigers.com. But until then, we will see you guys next time with our next interview.